When I was visiting with my daughter this past week, she got me to watch a video that says blue zones. And I recommend that everybody watch it. The one I watched was about this community in Sardinia, which I think is part of Italy. Maybe I've got the name of the city wrong, but something with S. And they're talking about how everybody there is over the age of 100. Everybody there is over the age of 100. And one of the things that they feel, in addition to the food, the pasta, they eat the pasta, they eat the bread, they eat all of that.
Drink the wine.
Right? They drink the wine, they do all of that. But they have a very, very extended sense of community. And the one thing that we have lost since we were hunters and gatherers was this sense of community, which is essential to survival. Not just survival. Of course, your community was needed so that you could, hunt the elk and hunt the moose and save yourself from the saber-toothed tiger. Yeah, you needed community to save you from all the things that were bad in your life. But you also needed community to sit around and chat with and discuss what happened in the day and just laugh for no reason. Someone to watch your baby when you slept, someone to take care of the food when you were too tired to eat, or when you couldn't hunt enough or couldn't gather enough. You needed people around you. And we always had that. We always had that community around us, that nurturing community. And what has happened when we've moved out of our parents' homes and into our own little private homes? We need our space, we create boundaries, and then you wonder why you're so lonely. You wonder why you're so lonely. They said that this woman in her 80s had a fall and was put into a home to recover. And they put her in a room where she had to look out into a wall. And the community felt like she was aging, she stopped talking. And they decided to just send people to her every day. So every single day people came and they literally pulled her out of her misery. Pulled her out of her misery. And she's 100 and something. And she says, you know what? We love coming to meet her because she's so happy and she's so wise. Now, what do our kids tell us these days? Mom, you don't know anything. They prefer to learn from Google than from their parents who have experience, than grandparents who have experience. And great-grandparents, they will never see. Everyone had their children early, back in the day. And it was always this cosseting. The great-grandparents for their wisdom and their knowledge, the grandparents for their actual child care, the parents for, providing the food for the house. It was, everybody had a job to do here in raising the child. And there is something to be said about having people, when you think about what makes you happy, sometimes it's the smallest things that make you happy. But at all points, this is your life. At any point in time, it is your life and you can make it what you want it to be. So you are welcome to live in isolation, locked up in your house, wrapped up in your thoughts, thinking about all the things that could have been, or that you lost, or that you had, or you didn't have. Or maybe in your house, where you were completely at peace, right? It doesn't need to be the fact that you're alone doesn't mean you're lonely. It doesn't really mean you're lonely. There are those that get their energy from themselves. There are those that get their energy from people. And there are those that need that space to be alone, to recharge and rejuvenate and create whatever they want to create for themselves. But we were not hardwired to live alone, to be by ourselves. You have to remember this at all times. So the second movie that they showed was set in Loma Linda in California. It's a tiny little village, and in that there was a church that came, it was all new for me.
Adventists.
The Adventists, okay. And one of the rules of the Adventists is that they eat healthy and they continually exercise and be healthy. They perform community service all the time. So this is church mandated. So they took us through the grocery store, and the grocery store was 90% filled with vegetables and fruits and legumes and nuts. And there was a little corner for meat and everything else. So the people in the village are largely vegetarian, and they exercise as group exercise activities, like we have the silver sneakers. And I see every morning at the gym, whenever I go, the group that's doing exercises together and doing all that thing and moving from one station to another, they look so happy. They're making comments, they're saying something, they're talking about their day. That hour that they spend together with others is something that makes them very happy. Because a lot of seniors in this country, they move very early into a home where they don't meet their loved ones. They don't meet their children. So it is up to them to create community for the same sense, same feeling of well-being. So when do you feel happy? You feel happy when you're not beset by all the problems, right? So it's like, how do you notice you're feeling okay? If you had a headache, for example, and you took a pill, and now there's no headache. I mean, you're not feeling as if you're on a high or you've just had a shot of tequila. Right? You're feeling just right, just fine, perfect, in balance, right? There's no headache, there are no pains, right? How you deal with your life is how often you get back into this state. And what I like to teach people at Hamsa meditation is that this is your natural state. That's why I say happiness is your birthright. And I don't want you to mistake it for pleasure or for some feeling of a high. It's not that. It's not that. Today I keep talking about things that I see, but I heard Jim Carrey talk about his moment of enlightenment, and he said he read Eckhart Tolle's books, and he says there was a moment when he felt that sense of spaciousness. It's a time like you get in front of a perfect mountain peak with snow, and it's even on either side. The sky is blue, there are clouds, there's a lake in front, there is the shadow of the lake, and for that moment there is that feeling of complete expansion, just complete. You cannot explain it, but you feel like there is no difference between you and the universe that supports you, that you are the universe, that you are the God that you seek. Sometimes you get it when you go to a temple or a church, and I've had so many people, I myself have experienced it as a child, when you hear the ringing of the bells, and there's a certain emotion that rises up within you, and you feel like something in you and something there is merging. And you get that feeling of oneness, of unity. Now, he says at the end of the video, he says, and I'm trying to get to that space every time, and I can't, right? You want to replicate it. You want to replicate it again and again and again. Now, this is the whole thing. Life is so full of so many things. You've been born into a world. You've got things to do. You've got people that depend on you. It could be your parents. It could be your children. It could be something else. You've got health concerns. You've got people that you're teaching, or work that you do. And nobody lets you have that moment of peace, right? But you've got to find it. And that's life, right? And your life and your life and your life are totally different. We live within minutes and seconds of each other, but there is nothing in common between how you regard the world and how I regard the world. Our commonality, the way we break everything, is when we enter that source. And we can enter it in many different ways. We can enter it through self-development, like the breathing, the meditation. That's one part of it. And you feel it. Whenever you don't do it, you feel it, you know. It's you never feel it when you're doing it, because life is going on and everything seems to be okay. You stop doing it for a week, and the old stuff starts coming back, and you're not able to handle this, and you're not able to handle that, and you know your headache is bothering you, your leg ache is bothering you, and everybody else is a nuisance. And then that's when you say, oh my God, I just need my moment of peace. So self-development is very important, right? To help you to understand that life throws things at you. And the more centered you are, the more connected you are, the easier it is to deal with it, and easier it is to say, it's okay, it's okay. Because ultimately we want to say, it's all okay. That's the best attitude to life, right? We're not all getting the same problems. You know, you look around you, there are so many people that are getting killed, there's so many people dying of natural deaths, there's so many people that are dying of forced death, there's so many people dying as a result of war. And it's not your problem. It is not your problem. That is not your life. You don't need to pull into your bubble anything that takes you away from this center. And it may be, the truth is always contradictory. Here I am telling you that you're not meant to be single, you're meant to be in the group. You can feel inclusive, you can reach out to people, you can help people the way you do, but you don't have to take on their problems. Their problems are theirs. Their karma is theirs. It's not yours. It is not your burden. It is not your cross to bear. Your only duty to be most productive in life is to be centered and to connect every time. It's like, you know, when your phone is not connecting properly, it's on low battery, it goes on low battery mode, you're not getting everything, right? You need to plug it in. Similarly, you need to recharge, and we can recharge in different ways. So the first one that I mentioned was, you know, just by connecting to yourself, the meditation, which is crucial. The second thing that you can do to move forward is to do for others. One of the best ways to get out of a funk or get out of a feeling of, oh my God, what's happening to me? Why is my life like this? Why? How can I be remembered? What is my legacy going to be? Is to do for others for no reason, not for recognition, not for fame, but just because if you were not there, who was going to do it? Who is going to do it? Just do it. And, you know, even as a group, maybe we can find a cause that we can all do. You know, if we want to do a weekly thing where we can volunteer somewhere. And I'm open to anything that you all suggest, because that is empty in my life. That little space needs to be filled. I need to volunteer my time and my effort a little bit more. And I'm sure there are people that do only that. They only volunteer, they only do for others. And that's we call that seva. The other thing is satsang. You know, we call it the 3 S's, sadhana, seva, satsang. Sadhana is your self-effort, seva is your help to help others. And satsang is this community, this getting together for no reason except to stay at peace, for a moment of just an hour away from the hustle and the bustle of life, to just discover yourself and discover your the God within you, whatever that is. And we need that. We need that. It completes us in so many different ways. We talk to each other, we help each other, we, send photographs. I have in the other group, the ladies that keep sending pictures of flowers and things that they see. And it's so beautiful. It's nice to share. It's nice to have that sense of community, that you can be in touch with people from all over the world and still have one common goal and still be together. Creating boundaries makes you lonely. And I try to explain this to younger people. And they won't understand it until they are in their 80s. And they are in that home and their children don't want to come and see them. They won't understand it. Because it happens, it has a rolling kind of an effect. The thing that actually gives you the maximum joy is the love of your parents and the blessings that come from them. The blessings of parents are invaluable. When you bend down and tie that shoelace, that feeling, the mother might not say, "Thank you, baby, for tying my shoelace," but that feeling that, "Oh, she did it for me. God bless her," Those feelings, that energy that goes from parents to children is invaluable. Those that get to take care of their parents are blessed. Although most people, when they are, in that role of taking care of parents, I know of so many families that are broken up because of this, that you've dumped the parents with us and you're living happily abroad and having a grand life, and, and we have to listen to all this and we have to do all of this. And then they say, "Oh, we took care of our parents for 20 years. Yes, but not with a smile on your face. There's zero value. If you take care of parents, you only get the negative karma because you have made them cry with your harsh words, with your meanness. How are you dealing with everybody else in life? How are you? It's your life. You have a choice. You have a choice. You can either be happy and spread happiness, or you can spread doom and gloom and disaster and say mean things and cause bitterness and hatred between people. Cause divides where there aren't. Everybody is the same. We're all the same. Everybody just wants to get by. Everybody just wants to have a decent life, come home to their children, share a meal with them, and make sure that they're home and they're safe and they're happy. And that everyone deserves. We're walking in behind the Hyatt in Sonoma, fancy area, and right there under the bridge, so many homeless. And I thought to myself, this is not how it's supposed to be. This is not how it's supposed to be. You can't have someone spending, money on private jets and having their own, line of clothing and so much money there, and someone who's so desperately poor here. It's not supposed to be like that. We're all supposed to be entitled to a decent life. And what can we do? It's your choice entirely. What you do with it, it's your life. It's here, it's gone. And as you're leaving, I want you to feel, I left a good life. I led a good life. I did for others. I feel happy. I'm ready to go happily. and nothing more left to do. Every moment was a moment well lived and well spent. Om Namah Shivaya. I hope you enjoyed this video. I would love to bring you more like this, but I need you to hit that red subscribe button, like and share with friends so I can bring more content just like this to your home. Never forget, happiness is your birthright.